What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Round the Track with the Riders, featuring myself, SterlingRider, and my co-host joining me as always, Duke Rider.
Yeah, it's been a while, a lot longer than we had promised. But, life happens, so
Yes, it does.
we're back.
It's been a couple busy weeks. My movers showed up, as you guys have seen on the channel. All my stuff is back. 90% of it's behind me. So, yeah, I've been busy unpacking. But we're back. We're here. Got some, not much news, but some news. And we got some fun racing to cover. So, I don't think there's really any big news. Maybe a interesting announcement, but I'll get to that here in a second. This part is no surprise. I think we saw this one coming. Chris Buescher signs multi-year contract extension with RFK.
Yeah, I mean, he's been with them, I think he said, since he was 16 years old. So, yeah, they're struggling right now, but he knows the story. I mean, he knows what's going on behind the scenes over there, how they're working on their race cars to get better. He knows their sponsorship situation. He knows the charter situation with them possibly only having 2 charters next year. So, and man, to be honest with you, if I was going to put anybody in a non-chartered car for that team, it would be the 17 that I would use as a non-charter car. Just because if you have, you're not going to have races very often where you're going to have more people show up than what you have spots for. But he's definitely somebody that's going to put you in every race if there's a qualifying situation. So he doesn't wreck race cars. He doesn't drive over his head. And so, I mean, why not keep Chris Buescher? Rumor has it though that there were teams that were courting him, that were going after him. So RFK pretty much got was able to keep him for multi years. And when they say multi years, it's usually a 3 to 4 year contract, but we don't know. Sometimes they are longer.
Yeah. So I would agree. I would say that would be the best car to have uncharted. But again, no surprise. Buescher's been with RFK for a long time. I don't see them letting him go. Now the other news that I think is kind of interesting is we've got Jesse Love moving up to the Cup Series. He's going to be taking over the number 21 for Wood Brothers Racing. Thoughts on that one?
I know Jesse wanted to get to the Cup Series. I don't think this was a good path. When Josh Berry went over there, of course, there was a lot of excitement. They had a few tough years over there at Wood Brothers, and Wood Brothers is basically a fourth Penske team. I mean, let's just be honest about it. Everybody knows it. They had struggled a little bit with Harrison Burton, and Burton was able to get that one win at Daytona, which of course it's Daytona. But then Josh Berry came in and basically got on that wave of momentum that they were running off of Harrison Burton's win, and was able to pull off the win at Las Vegas last year. And then the playoffs hit, and he had the worst round. And I know we talked about this on our last episode about how he had the worst round of playoffs in the history.
Mm-hmm.
With that first round, finished last in every race. And, but let's face it, if you look back at the last half of the year, last year, outside of Ryan Blaney, Penske Racing was not fast. And that includes the Wood Brothers. And it's carried over into this year, and they're still not fast. So when they released Josh Berry, I thought it was a bad move because, it's not Josh's fault. So bringing in Jesse Love, yes, Jesse has a lot of talent. He proved last couple years in the O'Reilly series, but this isn't going to be a car that's going to get him in victory lane for a long time because, again, like I said, it is the fourth Penske car, which means they're the fourth to get everything.
Mm-hmm.
As far as information, they're the first to get all of the research and development stuff, which is why I think Josh Berry's a horrible year this year, is because he's doing all the R&D trying to get the actual Penske cars faster. And outside of Ryan Blaney, again, it's just not working. So glad for Jesse Love to be in the Cup Series. But the 21 team is going to be an early hiccup in his career, kind of like it is for Josh Berry.
Absolutely, I would agree with that. Jesse Love's really good, obviously, in the O'Reilly series. He's proven that with multiple wins. I mean, he won the championship last season, just because of kind of the way the championship kind of just landed in his lap. But still, I mean, he has a championship under his name, you know. But you don't want to rush going up to the next series. There's still a lot to learn, even from the lower series. I mean, we've also seen, people like Justin Allgaier who does occasional Cup starts, but prefers the lower series just because it's, I don't know how to word it, but it makes sense. Rushing up to the Cup Series is never good. We've seen this happen in the past multiple times, and it's never worked out at all for those drivers. Sometimes it's always better to wait another 2-3 years before moving up. You may not want to wait, but sometimes waiting is what lands you in the spot that makes you a contender. We'll talk about this later, but as you mentioned, Penske's been struggling really bad this year. Ryan Blaney is an exception, but even he's been struggling a lot. And as the Wood Brothers is that fourth car, they're not going to be doing any better than those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what Jesse can do, but I'm not counting on Josh Berry stats. Is just how I can put it. So now my question is, do we think Josh Berry has somewhere to go still in the Cup Series, or do we think he might drop back down to a lower series with this happening?
Well, if you believe rumors in the garage, there has been a lot. Of course, there's been talk of Austin Hill this week probably having a possibility staying in that 33 car, which I believe is a bad move.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe he's Cup talent. I believe he's a jerk. But if he gets that ride, he gets that ride. I don't think that would be a good choice for RCR, especially with talking about what we talked about in our last podcast, where Noah Gragson would be a perfect fit for RCR, perfect fit for the 33 car because of his mutual relationship with Bass Pro Shops, just like RCR has. And that's the rumor. That was the rumor anyway, until the whole Austin Hill might stay, which, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. But if Noah Gragson moves into the 33 car next year, that leaves the 4 car open for Josh Berry, which, again, that's the rumor that they've been talking about. But you also have to look, Front Row also has 2 hungry kids over the Truck Series with Lane Riggs and Chandler Smith. Well, it's also rumored that Chandler Smith is possibly going to an RCR O'Reilly Series car next year. Maybe at the 21 or the 2, I don't know. But that there's places for Josh to go. It's definitely going to be a step down from the Wood Brothers if he goes to Front Row. But it keeps him in the Cup Series. If the Front Row thing does not materialize, I really don't see a place for Josh in Cup, which is horrible because Josh deserves to be in Cup. He's won a race in the series, but we'll just have to wait and see, because it's just right now there's so many dominoes left to fall in silly season that we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, there's still the whole Alex Bowman situation. There's Daniel Suarez's situation. There's Austin Cindric's situation, which you probably would assume he's going to stay in the 2, but who knows? There's the Ty Dillon situation. I mean, who knows? Rumor is that Stellantis with their Dodge brand is going to be in the Cup Series next year with Colleague, and if that is the fact, I was reading today that Ty Dillon's out and Dodge is going to go after somebody else. So who's that going to be? Would that be a Josh Berry? So there's still a lot more questions when it comes to Josh and all of silly season that we don't have the answers to. And the rumors right there just keep, that are in the garage, they just keep going left and right and up and down. So who knows what's true and what's not?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many rumors just from the garage itself. It gets spread through social media. Who knows what the original rumor may even be at that point. But yeah, so like you said, there's still a lot of dominoes to fall. Still a lot of things to uncover and be announced. Biggest takeaway, I would say, though, is you mentioned Austin Hill being announced that he's still a candidate. Still highly considered for the car. I'll just put my 2 cents in. Don't. I mean, we've already seen. We'll talk about this too, but we've seen what he did at San Diego. That was just a dumb move, and we saw what happened to him this last weekend at Chicagoland. Of course, I think that one was kind of more deserved, but whatever. Again, just my 2 cents. So I don't think he has the maturity for the Cup level, in my honest opinion. He struggles with that even in the O'Reilly series. So I'll just leave it at that. So no other news considering the garage, but if we want to talk about some video game news, it has finally been announced NASCAR 26 is set to release in September. We only know that one thing has been confirmed to be added, and that is Burnout. Cool. More or less, I didn't mind not having the Burnout because I didn't have to press an extra button to skip it from Heat 5 just because I did so many burnouts on that game. But yeah, it finally got announced. That was a big thing. And then coming in September, so 2 months earlier than it did last year. Of course, we talk about when we think it's best to release the game being, February, where everything's completely fresh and, roster's officially set, schedule's officially set, the playoffs or championship format, whatever it may be, is officially set. And then, of course, there's just the excitement of the new season starting that makes you kind of want to go play the game. But any comments about this at the moment?
Well, I hope that they added more than just the burnouts. When it comes to career mode in the NASCAR games, there's so much left to be desired. And I always revert back to NASCAR 06. When you you had multi-car teams and you could hire and fire drivers, you couldn't necessarily hire and fire drivers of your other cars because, like, if you bought like Kevin Harvick Incorporated, for example, you had to keep Tony Raines and Tony Stewart and all the drivers that he had, but the car that you drove, if you had to miss a race to go to a Truck Series race and a Cup Series race, and you had to miss a nationwide race at the time, you could hire a driver to go on that ride. They had silly season where drivers would swap rides or drivers would retire, stuff like that. And the other thing that I liked is you could control the other cars on your team. If we had that kind of technology back in 2006, here we are 20 years later, why don't we have that technology now? Why don't we have the ability to do that same thing now? And we should have the ability with the technology that we have in these modern day systems, the Xbox, the PC, and the PlayStation, where we should be able to hire and fire the drivers for all of our teams. If we have a 4-car team, we should be able to hire whatever driver we want or fire whatever driver we want. If it's within that budget, that money that we have up at the top of the screen, because if you think about it, with all of the heat games and NASCAR 25, once you made your money, you didn't have nothing else to spend it on. Yeah, you're buying parts here and there, but you're still not really spending a whole lot of money, so it's not really worth having all that money. But if you have a situation where you can go and offer a Kyle Larson a big contract to come and drive your car, you would have opportunity to do that. We can do it. We can do it in NBA games. We can do it in NFL games. I don't know about other, hockey or stuff like that, but I know that in the NBA games, you can, go and make contract offers and trade players and do all kinds of stuff like that. So if we have it in other sports games, we definitely need to have that kind of stuff in NASCAR games. So I'm hoping with 26 and iRacing being the ones doing it, that they've added a little bit more than burnouts. I'm going to be extremely disappointed if that's all they added, and we'll have to rethink whether I want to purchase the game or not.
Yes. And I've seen a lot of people, commenting, posting about it, saying, depending on what they do with this, obviously the first one, it had potential. It did really good for their first game. I won't say it was a bust. It was really good for their first game. Now that they have the game, they have a lot of the players' feedbacks of what we want to add. They can take what we want to add and go and add them. A lot of people have tweeted, posted, commented what they want added. One of the things I had reposted from another player was caution replays. I'll be honest, online lobbies, you kind of want to know what happens, especially when the guys are screaming at each other. It's funny. I know this from experience. I want to see what happened because I'm not always near it. In the career, you're kind of always near it because it's always a car you're going to lap that just single self-spins right in front of you. I don't know why it does that, but it does. Every time you're going to go lap them.
Some way, somehow, you get caught up in it some way, somehow.
Yep. I do like that they added... Yeah. I do like that they gave you a couple of seconds before actually throwing the caution to veer to miss it. Instead of just immediately caution and then the car comes back down, you just run right into them. So I do like that they did that. But yeah, red flags is what somebody mentioned. Depending on the crash, yeah, I could see that being a thing, especially in online lobbies. Again, in the career, the crashing isn't that big unless you cause it, which I have wrecked a few people because they push me around, make it 3 wide or whatever. So I say, nope, I'm not doing this and turn them. Normally it's Joey Logano. Red flags, weather with rain delays, rain shortened races. Realistic, very realistic. I see that being a great deal. I might be one of those ones that gets his first rain delay or rain shortened race and just go into the settings afterwards and turn it off. Be like, okay, experience and want, that's all they need. But, I know a lot of people would be interested in that. Damage models. Damage is way too simple in 25. Back in NASCAR Heat 5, if you crashed too bad, you were done. You could not recover. But on NASCAR 25,
for sure.
Yep, NASCAR 25, I can go take a 30-second repair pit stop and be right back on track. I might be dead last, but I'm back on track. And normally, if you do it on career, you can just pass everybody in about 3 laps anyway. Well, more or less, depending on the difficulty you play on. We know they can do good on the damage models. If you go look at the iRacing simulator, yes, You see how realistic that damage can get. Now, I also understand some people have argued this one, though, it's an arcade game, not a simulation. Okay, we get that. You can still make the arcade version better than what you have it, especially with I just crashed and my radiator's now just done for. I shouldn't be able to race again. Or I can wait 5 minutes to go back out on track, but normally I don't have the races long enough for that. So
I'm gonna have to argue that point there. This is not an arcade game. This isn't like a Ninja Turtles game or a Batman game or something like that. That's an arcade game. This is a simulation game. College football is a simulation game. NBA 2K is a simulation game. Madden is a simulation game. The Formula One game is a simulation game. These are not arcade games. Okay, now are they, iRacing simulation realistic? No, but they can be. They have the potential to be. These are not arcade games. This isn't Pac-Man.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, we know the damage model can be better and more, not top realistic, but more realistic. Ability to simulate races. Yes, please. There's some races I'd rather just skip.
Right.
I think I bounced off the wall so many times in Darlington, I almost just quit. I could not get my car around that track no matter what I did. If I want to simulate a race in some way, somehow risk my chance of making the playoff or chase, whatever, that should be on me, not on the game. Let me go simulate it. Of course, updated championship format, mostly because the playoff format sucks. Chase format is better, but not a lot much better. I'd rather you just let us choose our format from the playoff, chase, or full season points. I know there's a couple of games that let you do that in the past. Let us choose the format we want in career, or even in the full season mode, whatever you want to call it. I forget what it's actually called. And then cutscenes with two things with pit stops. Cutscenes, I kind of want to see what the guys are doing. And two, I shouldn't be having 20-second pit stops for the next gen cup car. We know that's not realistic unless you're repairing damage. I should be having these 9-10 second pit stops. I don't get that one. We know they're 9 to 10 second pit stops, yet you sit there for 16 to 20 seconds. Anyway, I think that can be fixed. But there is potential. I do know, I don't think they officially announced it, but it was confirmed that it will have cross-platform. So your Xbox buddies can play with your PlayStation boys. If you're still on PlayStation after what they've been doing the last few weeks. PC can play with PlayStation, whatever. Yeah, there's a whole nother story behind PlayStation.
Xbox is going down the same path. They announced it before PlayStation did, but there's not as many people playing Xbox, so that's why it wasn't as big of a deal.
Fair point. Hey, that's okay. I'm trying to switch over everything to PC anyway, so the more cross-platform games I get, the better. But yeah, other than that, that's all the news I have. I don't know if you have anything you caught or from podcasts you may have gotten.
I think that's about it. There really hasn't been a whole lot. There's been a lot of rumors out there. I kind of hit on most of them when we were talking about the 21 car, but there's still, there's going to be a lot more news sooner rather than later. I would hope, because we're halfway past mid-season, and once we reach Daytona, most of these teams are going to want to have their announcements made. I mean, because after Daytona we start the chase, and if you're a chase contending team, you want to have your announcements made as to what your lineup's going to be next year. That way you don't have to worry about it going into the chase. So I would say within the next month, we're going to have a lot of announcements. We're still waiting. There's 1 or 2 big dominoes that have to fall. But I think once one or two of those dominoes fall, then we'll have a little bit bigger picture of what 27 is going to look like.
Absolutely. And you mentioned Daytona. That's 7 races away. So we got 7 weeks. Oh, I can come out in 7 weeks. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, all right, we can talk about some racing. We've had some pretty good racing in the past couple of weeks, I'll say. Starting off with the race we were wondering how it would go, the San Diego Street Course.
We got Pocono first, dude.
Oh, you're right. I'm trying to look at Not Cup. I'm trying to look at Truck Series. We did have Pocono first. I probably wanted to skip this because this was a very boring race to me. Just saying.
Well, I mean, the O'Reilly race was the O'Reilly race. It was a really good race. I really enjoyed the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race, or no apps, I was really, I need William Byron to win in this 88 car so bad. I have all of his Hendrick Motorsports or HendrickCars.com paint schemes, but I don't have a number 88 for William Byron because he hasn't won in this car, and for some reason, every time it gets offered, it doesn't get. Kyle Larson's the only one that can get it made. Chase Elliott can't even get the 88 made.
Wow, that's surprising.
The only way it's been made is through Kyle Larson winning in the car. So I need for I need for William Byron to win in this 88 car. But his teammate, Justin Allgaier, did pull off the win. Mm-hmm. Man, I got to tell you, this Brent Cruz, man, this guy is the real deal.
Oh, yeah. He is indeed.
He continues to prove it week in and week out.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it was the O'Reilly Series race was the O'Reilly Series race. It wasn't anything. In my opinion, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it wasn't anything. It definitely wasn't as bad as the Cup race. The Cup race, I agree with you, was just it was a snooze fest. But the O'Reilly's race was a decent race.
Absolutely. So, yeah, let me. Just a fun fact about the No Apps race. We had a caution on lap 1, so that was fun.
Poor Corey Day.
Yep. So, and of course, as soon as we go green, we have after the first caution, we have another caution with Sawalage and a whole bunch of checkups. But yep. Really, I mean, it was a good race. I agree. It was definitely the better race of the weekend. A lot of oopsie daisies, you could say, for the tricky triangle. Some people, I guess, just did not quite get the trick down. But good race. Had a red flag toward the end from some big. From a big wreck, but stage 1 went to Taylor Gray, where stage 2 Brent Cruz picks up his first stage win, and then
I believe that's correct.
And then of course we saw Justin Allgaier, pick up the win. Honestly, no surprise. But Brent challenged him That's for sure. So.
Yeah, it was that those last 10, 15 laps of that race were really good.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Justin Allgaier picks up the win and the fastest lap of the race. Brent Cruz second. William Byron third. So close yet so far. Sam Mayer fourth. Sheldon Creed fifth. Anthony Alfredo sixth. Raja Caruth seventh. Brandon Jones eighth. Connor Zillage ninth. And Carson Quapple your top 10.
Yeah, real good run for Anthony Alfredo. What him and Parker Retzloff are doing with Viking Motorsports, they're an underdog team, they're an underfunded team, and they are both of those drivers are doing a really good job this year. And then Rajah Caruth with that 32, jumping between the 32 and the 88. With a good solid run there with Jordan Anderson.
Mm-hmm. You love to see. I need Raja to get a couple more top fives or even a win. Get his name up above the cut line. Come on, buddy. I know you can do it.
Yep.
Coming to Atlanta this week, if we don't get sideways and have to save it from a drift, I think we can pull one off. So go Raja.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, so yeah, move on to the snooze fest of the weekend.
Well, there was one good thing about this weekend. I do have a couple of William Byron jerseys that are, it looks like their race uniform. I wore one for the first time this weekend, and Willie was able to get a third. He didn't wreck. Something stupid crazy didn't happen. He was able to go out there and perform, and he needed it after. I mean, this season has been really for William, but he's able to finish third, so that was a good day for me. But we finished third behind two Toyotas who are leading the points with Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick. And it's just like they're unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
Parker Kligerman called it the Toyota Cup Series. The NASCAR Toyota Cup Series.
It has been looking like that. Except for the couple SVG wins at the road courses, it's been Toyota. And that's it. So yeah.
Guys.
I mean, Denny Hamlin was pretty much dominated this race, winning stage 1. Todd Gilliland, though, picking up stage 2. Really good for him. But, of course, Denny comes back and wins it. And, as you mentioned, Tyler Reddick in second, and then William Byron third. John Hunter Nemechek with a great run, finishing fourth. Kyle Larson fifth. Eric Jones with a great run in sixth. Chris Buescher in seventh. Chris also had the fastest lap of the race. Ross Chastain eighth. Ryan, wow, I can't read. Ty Gibbs ninth. Ryan Blaney, your top 10. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it was your Pocono race. It was, if you were surprised by what you got out of Pocono, you haven't been watching Pocono very long.
Yes.
This is also the reason they're down to one race, because we used to get 2 of these a year, and it got to where fans weren't showing up. Well, now they have one race a year, and it's usually a sellout. So, there's that.
Yeah. It seems to be like that sometimes. But yeah, so moving on. Now we have the one truck race from the last 4 weeks. Like I said earlier,
Yeah, no kidding.
the race we were all questioning, but also somewhat excited for, the naval-based street course race in San Diego. I will say the truck race was pretty entertaining, and so was the no apps race as well. I mean, even the cup race had a few moments. More like
The cup race was entertaining until Austin Hill.
Yeah. Well, then it was also still entertaining until Corey Heim.
Yeah.
Thanks, Corey. I was rooting for Carson there. I don't think I've rooted that hard since Chase Elliott's first win at Watkins Glen. Was how bad I was rooting for Carson, but no, I wasn't allowed.
Yeah, well.
But truck race was good in my opinion. We had a lovely special guest appearance by Jimmy Johnson during this weekend, who did solid, I will say, for his first time back in the trucks in forever. But Lane Riggs picking up stage 1, Parker Kligerman stage 2. But Lane Riggs comes back and wins the race. I don't know. I don't think there was really any big events during the truck race, except a few people went straight when they were supposed to turn, or they hit that little bump from the hill and spun. That seemed to be the two big things: wheel hopping, so you didn't turn, or you went over that really bad bump and just kind of lost it.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what, though, Tyler Reef there. Those on that last restart in the 42 truck, I was really pulling for that kid to pull off the win. Lane Riggs, he seems to be like the road course ace in the truck series, and Tyler was right there with him, getting him what for, and then Tyler missed that one corner and went on the wrong side of the tire barrier, and he had to do a stop and go and lost a lot of positions. But, after the race, people knew what his name was.
Yep.
Because of the performance that he put on there in the last part of that truck race.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest, sometimes it's better for people to know your name than for you to just go win the race. So now people might know his name by more of an accident, even though he was up front contending. But at these type of racetracks, it happens. Some of the best miss corners. So, but yeah, Lane Riggs wins the race, fighting off Tyler Reef. Daniel Hemrick second. Kaz Gralla finishing third. Landon Lewis with a great run, finishing fourth. Ty Majeski fifth. Hey, look. It's been a while since we've seen these guys up here. Justin Haley, 6th. Brendan Queen, 7th in those Ram trucks. Ben Rhodes, 8th. Christian Eckes, 9th. And Gio Ruggiero finishes your top 10. Tyler Reef ended up 19th due to his stop and go. And your fastest lap is Chandler Smith, who ended up finishing 22nd. So, all in all, it was a good race to watch. Moving on to the no apps race. This was also a good race to watch. So
yeah, it was a really good race. Unfortunately, Austin Hill was able to pull off the win, but the people that were up front in this one, again, we see Parker Retzlaff with Viking Motorsports in the top 10. Of course, there's all the usual suspects, Tyler Gray, Sheldon Creed, Carson Quaffle, all those people that we always talk about. But the really interesting part of what happened in this race happened early in the race when Corey Day picked up a manhole cover and basically punctured his radiator that drove around the track and stopped on pit road, and they pulled it out of the front of his car. And of course, they had to red flag it so that they could get welders out there and get that welded down. But then in a very unprecedented move by NASCAR, they let Corey Day get all 5 of his laps back. This is the first time I've ever seen them do anything like that. And I've been a fan for a very long time. So the last time that anything remotely like this happened was in the 2001 All-Star race that had been delayed, and then they started racing, and everybody wrecked into turn 1, and they allowed them to get out backup cars and work on them and restart the race after it quit raining. But that was an all-star race. That wasn't an actual race, points race. So this was very unprecedented move by NASCAR, and it's a move that I actually agree with, because that is something that should never happen. Whether it's on a street course or a regular racetrack, stuff like this should not happen. And it happened, and they were able to fix it. But crazy, some of the things that we saw happen, that we see happen on these street courses.
Yeah. I mean, you never really know what's going to happen. They prepare for what they hope to avoid, and even sometimes the most preparation is not enough. So as you mentioned, manhole cover through the radiator, that's not supposed to be how it works. But glad they were able to get the car fixed. Glad NASCAR let them get those laps back. So I would say that was definitely deserved, needed. That was a track incident, not a driver incident. So something that kind of couldn't been avoided. So I think that was a good move by NASCAR, letting him pick those laps back up, which actually helped him in the race, because Corey Day ended up finishing 10th in the race. But yeah, stage 1 was Austin Hill, stage 2 Taylor Gray, and then of course finishing it out, Austin Hill wins it. Taylor Gray finishing 2nd, Sheldon Creed 3rd, Carson Kvapil finishing 4th, had the fastest lap. Sammy Smith 5th, Jesse Love 6th, Parker Retzloff 7th, as we mentioned, him doing really good. A name that's kind of unknown, Austin Green in that 87, doing a really good job. Harris Burton 9th, and then as mentioned, Corey Day, your top 10. So
yeah, give a shout out to Austin Green. That's David Green's son. David Green's a former Busch Series champion from back in, I believe he won the championship in 1995. It was either 95, 96, or 97, somewhere in that range there. Drove in the Cup Series for a long time. And his two brothers, Jeff and I think I say it was Mark Green. All right, so he does have family. He does have family heritage. Unfortunately, he kind of has a raw deal, because he's not in that car full time. He doesn't really have the money to run, but when he does run, especially on these road courses, he always runs really good. So, it's always good to see these underdog teams finish up front, no matter the circumstances.
absolutely. So moving on to the Cup race. This was definitely an interesting race. Of course, we had SVG and Carson Hocevar starting out the front row. And most of it was just some spins. Bubba lost a wheel.
Came back to finish second.
Yes.
After losing a wheel.
Had a really good
and
rebound.
having a 2-lap penalty.
But I believe, what was it for? So a little bit into stage 2, restart on lap 32, is when chaos strikes. The bowling hill, rolling hill, whatever you want to call them. Now,
I would call him the bowling hill.
to be now, it was a good restart, great restart. It was entertaining. SVG, it was Connor's Village, Austin Hill. SVG made it 3 wide for a brief moment. Just seeing what he could do. Ends up backing out. However, even though he backed out of the 3 wide, he was not able to avoid the bowling hill, as I stated. And somebody decided to not take turn 1 very well, taking out multiple drivers, taking out Connor Zillage, SVG, and himself, of course, but also including Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Riley Hirsch, John Hunter Nemtek, Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, Michael McDowell. So, big
He
crash.
basically damaged all of the road course racers' vehicles.
And then some.
A lot of them, because Tyler Reddick was still competitive, Michael McDowell was still competitive, Riley Herbst. But still, it's the fact that, there was a lot of damaged race cars for somebody that really is not a Cup talent, that really had no business being up there. He didn't. I mean, it was a pit strategy thing that got him up there. So, that right there is not going to is not going to help his reputation in the Cup garage, and which means it's going to be rough for him if he does stay in that 33 car next year. But I mean, he took out the contenders for this race. I mean, because Connor Zillage and SVG were probably going to race up front all day.
Mm-hmm.
And the bad thing about this is, Connor's got to take good runs when Connor can get good runs, and because he's had a disastrous season, and this was just another disaster of a race for Connor Zillage.
Absolutely. Yep. So I mean, it just shows he's not Cup material. And then taking out winning drivers and contenders, not good. So, like you said, not going to have a good reputation with the other drivers. Coming to, if he's in that 33 car, fingers crossed he's not. But besides that, most of the racing was good. I will say that I know it didn't help you any, but it definitely hurt us both in our fantasy lineups, very very badly, because I think we both had 4 of our 5 drivers in that wreck. So
yes,
not including our garage, but I think my garage guy got hit in that wreck too. I don't quite remember, but didn't help me any.
My garage guy was AJ Allmendinger, so I was able to put him in the lineup in SVG's place. But still, I had Connor Zillage was out.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
And then we saw also what happened to Tyler Reddick late in the race. Well, that hurt.
Yep.
So yeah, it was just totally uncalled for. It was completely avoidable, and took out contenders. So
yes.
Anyway.
Absolutely. But we had Ryan Blaney win stage 1, Ryan Preece stage 2, and In his 13th Cup Series start, Corey Heim picks up his first Cup career win. Any comments on that one?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at what Corey Heim did in the Truck Series over the past few years. Toyota has him for a reason. He's going in full time with 2311 next year for a reason. Granted, you mentioned earlier his run-in with Hocevar, which was payback from a couple years ago in the Truck Series. You can't really, and even Carson was like, yeah, he owed me that one. But I mean, to see Corey win this race, it's not a surprise. You don't see that talent happen all the time. I mean, you've seen drivers struggle. Look how long it took Ty Gibbs to win a race. Mm-hmm. Look how long it took William Byron and Chase Elliott to win a race, driving in race-winning equipment. So, we know that 2311 is race-winning equipment. Just look at what Tyler Reddick had did earlier in the year. So seeing 2311 win with Corey Heim isn't a shock. I don't think anybody was really shocked. I think maybe shocked that it happened this soon, but not shocked to see Corey Heim win.
No, not at all. No, I wasn't shocked. Definitely impressive for how short amount of time he picked up his first win. But yeah, I wasn't shocked. I was kind of impressed, honestly. Even though I was fuming over him punting Carson Hocevar, but sometimes that's just racing anyway. Again, but it looks good for him. It looks good for 2311, knowing that 2311 signed him full time next year. So, it just shows that he's going to be a contender. We've seen him at multiple tracks this season, here and there, and he's been up front for a good amount of them. So it shows he's a contender, and he will be a contender, especially next season. So, yeah. So like I said, Corey Heim picks up the win. Bubba Wallace with an impressive second place run, even after losing a wheel early on in the race. Kyle Larson third. Zane Smith finishing fourth. Great run by him. AJ Allmendinger fifth. Chris Buescher sixth. Ross Chastain seventh. Riley Herbst eighth. Ryan Blaney ninth. And Michael McDowell, your top 10. Your fastest lap, honestly, there's no surprise now I see this. The Project 91 car driven by Kevin Magnussen. We'll be honest though, I didn't see him.
Him and Noah.
Yeah, I didn't.
Him and Noah had a few run-ins.
Yeah, I honestly didn't see him all race until those run-ins, being talked about after the race. Even on top of that, but I mean, had the fastest lap. He did something right. I guess Noah didn't.
Yeah.
Part of racing, man. Part of racing, especially at a track nobody has ever been at before. So,
yep. Well, on that note, before we move on to Sonoma, let me ask your feelings about going back next year. We don't know if this is NASCAR has not said whether this is a one race deal or a multi-year deal or what. You and I have been vocal about our dislike of street course racing. There's too many real road courses out there that we could be racing at. I think the perfect balance would be 3. Sonoma, Watkins Glen every year, and then rotate between Canada, Mexico, Road America, COTA. There's even Road Atlanta that we could put in there. Different places like that where we could, build road courses where we could go outside of the street courses, but I do think that this race was one of the better street courses that we've seen over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you feel about them going to San Diego or any military base, for that matter, with a street course every year? I mean, there's a lot of bases that they could jump it around, and if they really want to take it international, we've got international bases where they could take this and run it.
Absolutely. Because I believe F1 does that for a couple of their races every now and then at military bases. My thoughts are racing at the base is great. It shows that they are very happy to go and support our nation's heroes and our troops while they're, stuck at the base. They might be on duty or something. That gives them a chance to still kind of attend a race. Sometimes you don't even get that vacation to go see a race somewhere else in the country. So it's great. I love the fact that they went to a naval base. Now, on that note, don't have it at the same base every year, even every other year. I know the big part behind this was to kind of celebrate our nation's heroes and America's 250th birthday. It's great. I'll be honest. It was fantastic. Love to see it. You saw all the Navy sailors on the ships, all the military personnel in the grandstands around the track. So it was great. But like you said, there's multiple bases throughout the U.S. they could go and do this. It could be an even shorter track. It could be even a longer track. NAS Pensacola is about the same size as San Diego. The configuration just would be a little different, of course, but it'd be a great racetrack. I would know. I've driven around that base from when I was stationed there. If they were to do it, I'm all for it. Like I said, that gives a chance for our nation's heroes to see NASCAR up front and close. And we know NASCAR is very patriotic, very, American sport, very God-loving sport as well. So having that put into kind of a system I think would be really good. Not every year, like you mentioned, the three road courses a year, Sonoma, Watkins Glen, and then rotating, obviously. So maybe every 3-4 years having this, having a special street course race at a base. Not every year. I think that's going to be too much, in my opinion. But we know it's possible now. Let's take that and apply it to other places. Every few years. And I say every few years, that also helps with planning, prepping, setting up the track, and, just all in all, security. I know it takes a lot for a naval base to have fans coming onto the base just to watch a race on the base. But all in all, I think it's a great idea. Do it, just not every year. That's my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in agreement with that 100%. And if they're going to do it on a Navy base or a military base, it's an Army base, Navy base, Air Force base, whatever, let's do it on the 4th of July. Unless they go back to Daytona on the 4th of July, which I would prefer them to go back to Daytona on the 4th of July.
Yes.
But if they're not going to, let's do this race. If we're going to do a race on a military base, let's do it on the 4th of July weekend, because that's the perfect time to celebrate America.
Absolutely. You can even, part of the 3-4 years of put that in the prep planning. You make a deal with Daytona. Hey, we're here every 4th of July except this year, and then so on. And then say the reason why is we're going to go honor our heroes with a race at this base this year, this base this year, this base this year. I feel like the owners of Daytona would be all for that. And then of course the bases to depending on where location is, but still, I would say there would be a way to work a deal around with Daytona to be like, okay, you'll be here these years, but not this year. These years, but not this year. I think that would be completely doable.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the truth of the matter is NASCAR owns Daytona, so
exactly.
they could put Daytona wherever they want on the schedule.
Exactly.
The other thing is the TV deals, because you could still have it. Yeah, I know this was on Amazon, but it's still going to be, the Amazon Prime TNT time of the year, where this is going to fall. Which, that's pretty much. I mean, that's perfect. We'll talk a little bit more. Um, Sonoma was Amazon's last race. Am I correct?
One sec. Let me look. No, the San Diego Street Course was the last race
Street
for
course
Amazon.
was their last race. Yeah.
Sonoma was first for
Okay, so
TNT.
then I guess before we move on to Sonoma, we need to talk about Amazon Prime's coverage. Their second year, and in my opinion, this was their second time up to bat, and again, just like they did last year, they knocked it out of the park.
Absolutely.
In every position, in the booth, in production, in pre-race coverage, in post-race coverage, in every aspect, they knocked it out of the park.
Absolutely. 100% agree. I mean, let's see. It was a Coke 600 was the first race on Amazon, correct? Let me look real quick.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I
And
mean,
this was their first crown jewel that they've ever covered. So
that was a very, very long broadcast, but that was probably one of the best broadcasts I've seen. And that was the very first one they took up for this season, very first Crown Jewel, like you mentioned. Phenomenal job. Um, you know, had to bypass rain delays, had to bypass rain shortage. Didn't matter. They were still there, still broadcasting, still giving us entertainment. I was up very, very late that night, just trying to finish everything. I didn't think the post race coverage was ever going to end. Is how late I was up watching that. I was like, how many more things are they going to do? I wasn't complaining, and it was great. I'm getting stories from all over the track. Of course, it was also a sad time in motorsports. We had just lost Kyle Busch. So they were doing a lot of extra things to honor him, which again, I was all for. But yeah, Amazon did phenomenal. Like you said, knocked it out of the park. First swing, of course. I've seen a lot of things on social media. And I know this would be very hard to do just because of the way TV deals are done today. Just let Amazon Prime take it for the whole year. It would be the best. It'd be like the CW. It'd be some of the best broadcasting during the season. We've seen what the CW does. Just think what Amazon can do for a full season. I think it's more of a cheaper option as well. Amazon Prime's easier to get. It's more of a cheaper option. Like I said, there might be some, as I've seen on social media, some of the older grandma, grandpas that still watch it that don't like streaming services, but are you going to complain with saving money or just not watch the race? I think saving money is going to be better than trying to go spend hundreds of dollars on cable trying to watch it. And that's just my opinion. And I'm sure a lot of people would agree with that, but yeah, Amazon sets a bar and then goes way over it still, for what they do. So
yeah, definitely. I definitely agree. And they did say, Amazon Prime did say this week that they want more races. They want to do more races. So hopefully, when the next TV contract comes around, I don't know about you, but I'm really hoping that they outbid Fox for the first half of the season, and they're able just to do the first half of the season. And we know TNT is now going to be owned by Paramount. So maybe we could see Paramount getting in on this, and we could have some races. Maybe CBS and Paramount really go after the Cup Series, and that would maybe we lose NBC, but maybe we could get it to Prime and Paramount covering all of our races, which again would when it comes to finances, is going to be a better deal, especially if they put the races on like Paramount Plus.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Not cancel Paramount Plus during the summer.
Yeah.
I cancel it because there's no, there's one show on it that I watch, that I can watch in the fall when I get it back, when there's 5 or 6 shows on there that I watch, so I can catch up on the one for the summer, or in the fall. So, but yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that would be great.
Yeah, and even just to add on what Amazon and TN2 do, they commercialize and advertise. I mean, not commercialize, advertise the races so much better. It could be the middle of the week, and I'd get on Prime Video because there's a couple of shows I'm watching on Prime Video. What's up there? Coming soon or later this week, the Cup race, very first thing on my page. They're pushing it out there, and I think that's also is what needed. It needs to be advertised more. It needs to put in front of people's faces more. Somebody might go, "Oh, NASCAR's racing here this week. You know what? Let me put that in the back of mine. Put that in my notes. Whatever. Go set the DVR to record it. Or give me a notification. Prime just went live in NASCAR race, so I can go watch it. It sounds interesting where they're at this week. It might be good. Return to Chicagoland on TNT. I think a lot of people tuned in just because they were back at Chicagoland. You went up and one-upped us all, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, I mean, they push it out there. It's there. They're doing it. They're excited to do it. And of course, like we, said, they always knock it out of the park. So it'd be awesome to see them take, both of those productions take the whole season. Be a lot better for all of us, honestly. So.
Yeah, for sure. So we move on to the TNT portion of the race. We also move on to the bracket challenge. Hope you got your bracket set.
It didn't matter.
I don't know about you, but race 1 killed everybody's bracket.
Yes.
But
yeah, after Sonoma, NASCAR posted 0 perfect brackets remained. So.
Yep. But before that, we did have a no-apps race. Really, 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 really good no-apps race, in my opinion. Between Connor Zillage and Brett Cruz and SVG, and then you had Anthony Alfredo and Parker Russell running up front again. Just an amazing race, really from start to finish. Mm-hmm. This was this race at Sonoma in the O'Reilly Series.
Absolutely. Really great race. Like you mentioned, a lot of guys up front that you don't see up front. Some of those guys were contending. Anthony Alfredo, picked up his first stage win during stage 1, impressive. And even during most of the race, he was more on the conserving side, but he was still up front and contending for spots. Trying to keep spots more than take spots, but still doing a really good job of it. Like I said, Anthony Alfredo stage 1, Connor Zillage stage 2, but none of them can quite take out the master of the road courses, SVG, doing it again, taking Sonoma. No surprise there, to be honest. But yeah, SVG wins. Connor Zillage second. And I believe, it doesn't show me, but from what I'm looking at, I believe he had fastest lap of the race. Brent Cruz third.
Yep.
Brent Cruz third. Anthony Alfredo finishing fourth. Great run by him. Parker Retzlaff finishing fifth. Great run by him. So Viking Motorsports with a phenomenal weekend right there. Carson Quapple 6th, Corey Day 7th, Sam Mayer 8th, Jesse Love 9th, and Sheldon Creed your top 10.
Yeah, and we can't skip over Carson Quapple was in the 91 car this week. He wasn't in the 9 car. He wasn't in the 1 car. He was in that 91 car that normally doesn't get to run up front. But with this, I mean, I know it's a junior motorsports car with the 91 on the side, right? But he struggled when that's been the situation, just like Rajah Caruth has struggled in the 32, and it's the 32, same thing. It's a junior motorsports car with Jordan Anderson number on the side, and they've really struggled with those teams. But to see him run in the top 10 with that team, it's not only just a boost for Carson, it's also a boost for that 91 team.
Yeah, absolutely. Apologies.
Sounds like you got some emergency stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah. Moving on to the Cup race. The beginning of the in-season bracket challenge.
Yep. And our points leader at the time, Tyler Reddick, decided to destroy everybody's bracket and finish dead last.
Yep. He sure did. I didn't have him going all the way, but I had him going most of the way. But obviously,
I had him and Hamlin facing off in the finals.
Yeah. Definitely interesting. How that happened. But also with that happening, we started having a points battle for the points lead as well between him and Hamlin. I think after Sonoma, Hamlin had it by 1 point at that time. Yep. So interesting to see owner versus driver fighting for the points title.
Yep. And it's not like Denny Hamlin had a good race at Sonoma either.
No, he did not. That's the funnier part. Yeah, definitely bracket. Busted some brackets from that, but still had a pretty solid race. Ty Gibbs picking up stage 1 and stage 2, but that was mostly just from pit strategies. A lot of the guys that ended up finishing up front had pitted right before stage ends. But no surprise, SVG picks up the win. Chase Briscoe, though, was closing in on him in those last few laps, but not enough to catch him. Chase finishing second. Ty Gibbs third. Kyle Larson fourth. Christopher Bell fifth. Ryan Blaney sixth. Connor Zillage seventh. Finally having a good race for him there. Ryan Priest eighth. Michael McDowell ninth. And Alex Bowman, your top 10. So,
good race, good weekend, for sure.
Oh yeah. So we can move on to our 4th of July race, the O'Reilly's Auto Parts Series racing at Chicagoland. Very, very late in the day. I think everybody had their 250 America party before the race even started. But that just gave you a reason.
Yeah,
gave you a reason to stay up even later, you know. So
Yeah, a 4.5 hour rain delay, um, and I actually got to watch this race live. Don't necessarily get to watch these O'Reilly races live because I usually have to watch the replay on the CW. But I was visiting some relatives who happened to have the CW on their cable or on their satellite, so I was able to watch this race live. It was a good race. Um, and excited for the return to Chicagoland. Chicagoland, in my opinion, never should have came off the schedule after 2019, and I believe this weekend proved why it should have never came off the schedule. Two phenomenal races. We'll talk more about the Cup Series race here in a minute, but the O'Reilly Series race was it was a good race. A little bit disappointed in the winner. I was really hoping for that 88 to win. Um,
That would have been
it doesn't
wonderful.
seem to be our year.
It does not.
Doesn't seem to be our year
Too much.
for our drivers in the 88. They finish second or third every week
Yep.
when they're in that car.
Absolutely. But heck of a battle there for the win. Overtime restart. Elliott had the lead at the restart, but Brandon Jones was able to side draft along and going into turn 3, getting around Chase Elliott coming the white and holding the lead there to the checkered flag. But phenomenal racing, especially there in those last few restarts. I believe it was the next to last one. We went 4 wide.
Yep.
With Taylor Gray, Brandon Jones, Chase Elliott, and Jesse Love. Crazy. I didn't even realize the track was that wide, to be honest with you. It doesn't seem that wide on iRacing, so that was crazy to watch. But great race, all in all, for Chicagoland by the No App Series. Connor Zillage picking up stage win. Elliott, of course, picked up stage 2. And looked like he was going to have it until the last few cautions. But Brandon Jones picks up the win. So.
Yeah. In that four wide restart you were talking about, that really just goes to show you how these cars drive compared to the Cup cars, because with the Cup cars, for some reason, Chase Elliott is not that aggressive as he was with this particular car, with the O'Reilly Series car. It seems like he can be a little bit more aggressive without having to worry about the car coming out from underneath him than he can with the Cup car, because it didn't seem like he even thought twice about making that move. And it got him the lead.
Mm-hmm. I did. But yeah, I think that's more of just kind of how the Cup cars handle. To be honest with you,
Yep.
why the driving style is so much better, and this is why the O'Reilly Series is the best race of the weekend. It's because we see the difference in the handling, and so. But yeah, so Brandon Jones picks up the win. Chase Elliott second. Jesse Love third, Brent Cruz fourth, Austin Hill fifth, Justin Allgaier sixth, Taylor Gray seventh, Sam Mayer eighth, Cole Custer ninth, and Connor Zillage your top 10.
Yeah, and it's good to see Justin Allgaier finish up front. This is kind of a home track for him. He's not from too far away. He's originally from Springfield, Illinois, which is it's 2.5 hours away from Chicagoland. So home track for Justin, finishing in the top 10. I'd love to see him get a win here at this track. So hopefully it stays on the schedule for Justin to be able to, have another shot at it next year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah.
Yep.
Moving on.
So there is a reason why I know this track is 2.5 hours away from Springfield, because this weekend we were in Springfield, and last week on Tuesday we were driving home from running some errands and doing some things, And I got this brilliant idea that said, hey, we're going to be 2.5 hours away from the racetrack. I would kill myself if I didn't try to get tickets.
Okay.
So I got online.
Let's not say that. We're recording.
And what?
You would hurt yourself. YouTube doesn't like when you say the other way.
Well, I would not. Sorry, I would not be able to forgive myself.
That's better.
Being that close to the racetrack and not going. I've been a fan for 40 plus years, and I've never been able to get to a race. And I was going to be 2.5 hours away from the racetrack. So I called the people that we were staying with, which was, my mom and stepdad and your grandparents. And we were going to be staying with them. And I called. I said, hey, what do you think about going to the race? I'll get us tickets. And, of course, they were all for it. They've been to races before. Mm-hmm. She's been to one. He's been to, this was his third race. So I got tickets and we got there, and we got to the track about 3:00, which was 2 hours before green flag. Traffic was horrible. It was not the racetrack's fault. It rained a lot over the weekend. They got over 4 inches of rain on Friday and Saturday. So they were not able to do parking at the track like they normally would, right? So they're having to readjust the parking. There were some people, unfortunately, that missed the start of the race due to the parking situation. But fortunately, we got blessed and we got in the right line going into the racetrack, and we were able to get parked. We were at the gate of the racetrack about 4:15, and we went in probably about 4:50. Green flag wasn't until, green flag actually flew about 5:30, but it was supposed to fly about 4:19. So we started going to the track about 10 till. Of course, we did stop at the merchandise haulers and looked around. Panic moment, though. When it got there, I had full service on my phone, right? Pulled up Ticketmaster where you got the ticket from, and guess what? I could not get the tickets to pull up.
Uh-oh.
I was panicking. I found out later I was not the only person that had that problem. Talked to a few people on social media that had the exact same problem, because even though we had full service at the track, there was, however many tens of thousands of people that were there, and service was horrible. Finally got my tickets to pull up. Could not get them saved to my phone. You're supposed to be able to save it to like your Apple Wallet and stuff. Mm-hmm. Couldn't get it to do that, so I just kept my phone on until we got to the gate. Fortunately, when we got to the gate, all the tickets. But I did have a panic. I did have some panicking for about 10 minutes trying to get those tickets pulled up. So, just if you're going to a race, get your tickets pulled up, get them saved to your wallet on your phone. That way you don't have to worry about that. But super, super excited to be able to go into my first race. Unfortunately, you and your beautiful wife weren't able to make it because you were, 15 hours away. Yeah. But next time, we'll talk more about that later. And let you all know when the next time we're going to be at the track, because we're going to try to plan it a little bit better. This was a last-minute thing. We were in row 15. We were about 100 yards past the start-finish line, so we could see the start-finish line very well, could see the entire racetrack from our seats, and it was just an excellent, awesome experience. And to be honest with you, it was a really good race. Better than what I was expecting for a mile and a half. I panicked a little bit there, the first part of the first stage. Because I'm sitting there, we're watching the cars go around and Denny Hamlin's gone. And then a few seconds later, somebody else is going. And a few seconds later, somebody else is going. So, Denny was pulling away. And I'm like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm going to be really upset if I have to buy a Denny Hamlin diecast, right? Because you and I had talked about before the race. This is the first race. Obviously, I need to get the race in diecast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, I'm going to be really upset if I have to buy a Denny Hamlin diecast, especially with Progressive, being a sponsor. So
Yeah.
I was in a little bit of a panic mode that first part of that first stage, but then my buddy, and I had on the other jersey that I had never worn before. I decided I was going to wear it to the racetrack. So my buddy, my driver, William Byron, takes the lead and goes and he wins stage 1. He wins stage 2. And we're looking really good going in stage 3 and leading a bunch of laps. Got jumped on the pit stops during about midway through stage 3 by Chase Briscoe, and then with in the last 5-6 laps, Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin got around William. But for being my first race, for William to lead a race high 92 laps, and me get to see his car out front. I got a lot of pictures of the 24 car leading the race. Got a lot of video of the 24 car leading the race. So for me, that was great. Unfortunately, your brother decided at this race that he was going to be a Chase Elliott fan as well. And Chase, while he did have a good race, he didn't have a spectacular race by any means. So one shining moment of the day was Kyle Larson spinning out all on his own on the front stretch, getting stuck in the mud.
That was funny. That was funny watching.
My stepdad is a Kyle Larson fan, so he wasn't too thrilled about that. But we were having a party in the other 4 seats that we had. But I do have to say, for this being my first race, while it was an awesome experience, poor Connor Zillage. I do not know what that guy has to do to get some luck in this series, because he didn't even make it. I mean, he barely made the pace laps. Got wrecked on the backstretch on lap 1. And totally it had nothing to do with him. He was just a victim of circumstance, to be honest with you. But
yeah,
what does Connor Zillage have to do to get some luck in this series?
I have no idea. I mean, the poor kid's had very, very bad luck for his rookie season. At these oval tracks. But hopefully it'll turn around. I know we're kind of getting near the chase, and he's most likely not going to do enough to make that. But it all comes with experience. Some things you can't are obviously out of your control. Hence what happened there on lap 1. But sadly, he's been the victim of what I would say is in an iRacing official race. Some idiot decides to drive it a little too hard, lap 1, turn 1, and takes out half the field. Connor Zillage seems to be part of that half a field section. But nothing you can do about that. Just kind of clean up, just stand up, dust yourself off, get ready for the next one. Is the best thing to do, which he has been doing. So he knows his luck will turn around soon. He posts about it. He says it in his interviews. But yeah, you got to feel for the kid. He's having a really tough break these last 5-6 races. So
yeah, I believe in the past 5 races, he's had 4 DNFs. In the past 7 races, he's had 5 DNFs. In 4 of those 5 that he had DNFs, he scored 1 point. So he is having the worst rookie season I've ever seen. But he also had probably the best rookie season of in a Raleigh Series driver last year. So, um, it's totally flipped on him. But man, that was just I feel really bad for Connor. But um, those weren't the only two incidences on track. We
Nope.
also had an incident on track between SVG and Austin Hill. And I don't know, I didn't get to see it on TV, and it was hard to see from where they were on the racetrack. It was really hard to see what happened. I did see replays, um, on social media later. I wasn't able to get online at all during the race. Zero. I had full bars, but I couldn't get on the NASCAR app. I couldn't get on Twitter, X. I couldn't get on anything during the race, so I couldn't see any replays or anything during the race. Of course, they showed it on the little TVs that they have there, but still, it's hard to really see what happened. And from my point of view, in the replays that I saw, Austin Hill pulled down in front of SVG, and yes, SVG did go into the corner a little bit deeper, probably than normal. But in my opinion, from what I saw, Austin Hill wrecked Austin Hill.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree. That was a I'm gonna come down and block you. Knowing right now the low lane is a faster lane, especially going into the turn. But that was hey, I'm gonna do this to make you slow down, so you don't have a chance to pass me. And well, that kind of bit himself in the butt, because being honest, I wouldn't slow down just because you cut me off. I'm gonna give you a tap. If you can keep it straight, great. If you spin out, it's on you. If you're gonna block me like that, make sure you can keep your car straight first before you do it. So yeah, I agree. That was an Austin Hill incident, and I kind of think NASCAR agrees, just because there was no penalties to either of them this weekend, from what has been seen. So yeah.
And I mean, yeah, they've had run-ins. I don't think this was on purpose per se. I don't think SVG cut him any slack, but I don't think SVG went into that lap that I'm going to let Austin Hill pass me because I know he's going to cut down and then I'm going to wreck him. I don't believe that was the situation there at all. But RCR, Richard Childress, and Austin Hill and Austin Hill's spotter seem to think that this was intentional. But again, even if you're driving, you don't pull out right in front of somebody and slam on the brakes. It's never going to work out well for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, yeah. And
then we had the fun little bit of Tyler Reddick again having Tyler's luck has definitely turned around over the past month or so, from what he was doing earlier in the year, and this time he pokes a hole in his radiator.
Yep. Yeah. Unfortunate for him, but I mean, you saw exactly what happened to his car. Poked a hole, and then fluid went everywhere, all over the car, on the track. Not much you can do at that point, except roll it down the pit road and park it. That's more of a debris and track incident, but that's one of those you can't recover from, like Corey Day with the manhole cover. Even if they could get it fixed, they wouldn't have had the time to come back out and be competitive. It would make more sense, at a street course, being able to come back out and still be competitive after catching your if you're able to catch your laps back up, or if NASCAR lets you have those laps back. But at an oval, that's definitely not possible. So, not much you can do there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So, but again, I have not yet watched this race on TV. I need to, because I want to watch it from perspective of somebody that's actually seen it from the stands. Those last 10 laps were a little disappointing for me. Because up until then it looked like William was running Chase Briscoe down, but I guess he burned his stuff up, and Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin were able to get around him. But I can't be disappointed going to my first race and having Chase Briscoe win. Knowing what Chase Briscoe stands for, knowing that Chase Briscoe is a man of faith, and he talked about it. If you listen to the interview that he did on the Happy Harvick podcast this week, he talked about his faith.
He talked about it
and stuff like that.
He talked about it in the post race interview too. One of the guys asked him, "It's like, what was that for? What would you do that for?" And he explained word for word why. That was wonderful to hear. He's very open about his faith, and very, very open about how thankful he is that God lets him race every week. So it's awesome to see that.
Yeah, and I remember him doing that when he won. I believe it was in Indianapolis in 2020, right after he and his wife had lost their unborn child. Mm-hmm. I remember him doing that and talking about that. And if I remember right, that might have been his first win in the Xfinity Series. I can't remember. But I know it was his first win coming back from COVID for sure. Mm-hmm. Can't be disappointed. I've been a fan of the 19 team before with Carl Edwards. Been a fan of the 19 team with Martin Truex Jr. Been a fan of Bass Pro Shops for 20 some odd years since they first showed up on Dale Senior's car. So Chase Briscoe winning that race, not too disappointed for that being my first race. Rather would have seen William win it, obviously, but if William couldn't win and Chase couldn't win, Chase Elliott couldn't win, Chase Briscoe would probably be my next pick for a car that I would be willing to, that I would be excited to purchase in a diecast form. So, but yeah, this race was a mile and a half race. I did start getting strung out there during that long green flag run in the third stage. I do want to give a shout out to. I know that you don't see this stuff on TV, but JJ Yeley in the 44 car. Like I said, this is stuff you don't see on TV. He pedals that thing as hard as he can pedal. And he'd start, green flag would drop and he would be right there with them. And then 2, 3, 4, 5 laps later, he's slowly falling behind, just chugging along. But at the same time, you could tell he's giving that car all it's got. And I know we don't talk about the backmarker teams a lot on our podcast, but seeing those cars out there on track and seeing what's going on, and there's a lot of stuff going on the racetrack that you don't see on TV, that you see when you're at the racetrack. So I got to view that this week, and when they talk about on their podcast, they talk about people racing for 15th, back to 25th, racing for their lives. That's exactly what it really is like. You don't see it on TV, But they are the 15th through 25th is usually right there together in a bunch. Excuse me, just racing the daylights out of each other the whole race long. So, um, amazing experience if you get the chance to, if you watch this and you get a chance to go to a race, take it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, as you mentioned, we'll be planning out races. We'll be both attending together. My plan is to vlog parts of the races. I can't vlog everything, just because I know how wild.
If you have service.
Yeah, that, well, I can vlog that. It just won't be live. I can video it, but
That's true. That's true.
Certain things I won't be able to video just because of how wild some of the other fans maybe get, especially if we're at Talladega or something like that. Because the plan is to hopefully be in the infield for the whole for the whole weekend. That's the end goal for every race. But we're gonna start out slow with that first. But yeah. Just go through your top 10 at Chicagoland. Chase Briscoe got the win. Christopher Bell second. Denny Hamlin third. William Byron fourth. Alex Bowman fifth. Bubba Wallace sixth with the fastest lap. Ryan Blaney seventh. Ty Gibbs eighth. Corey Heim ninth. And Riley Herbst your top 10.
First time Toyota has had 7 top 10 finishers in their history in NASCAR.
So. But,
not a stat I wanted to witness.
Fair enough. But Chicagoland, it was awesome to watch on TV, in my opinion. Obviously, you had a blast at the track. So definitely think they should keep it on the schedule.
Yes. And I will tell you, the crowd sold out. And something else that you don't get to see on TV is the race fans. I mean, yeah, on Fox you get to see them on TV because they zoom in, but what you don't get to see is conversations they had on the racetrack, the conversations they had in the stands. We're sitting around. We had Kyle Busch fans around us, Denny Hamlin fans, Kyle Larson fans, Kyle Busch fans. I think I said that already. Dale Earnhardt fans, Dale Earnhardt Jr. fans. I mean, we were surrounded by fans of all kinds, right? And everybody was polite. If they need to get past you, it was excuse me. If you needed to get past them, it was, you'd say excuse me. They're like, oh, no problem. I mean, there were conversations going on. There were, it was a lot of great interaction. Just being there. Nobody pushed and shoved, nobody argued, nobody fought, except for I did see the video of the people fighting on the TNT post-race show. The fan behind the stage, I don't know what that was about. All I saw was I got a video that said the fans went full WWE on TNT.
Oh, what a caption.
What they should have said was the fans went on WCW on TNT because TNT is where WCW used to air, not WWE. But any which way, amazing experience at the track. Yeah, it was 2:00 in the morning when we got home because we decided to drive back. We were only 2.5 hours away. Getting out of the racetrack wasn't that bad. I know some people were struggling getting out of the racetrack as well. Our biggest problem was the 4 football fields that we had to walk to the car after the buses dropped us off. Just because my mom just had foot surgery, so she was kind of really struggling with that, but we made it. Unforgettable experience. Carried three coolers of water, 1 cooler of soda. I think we drank 1 cooler of water and like 3 sodas.
Understandable.
But the weather was also amazing. It really was not that hot. So of course, it being a night race, that helped a lot. And one thing I will say, the last thing I'll say about the race was the flyover and the national anthem in person. You'll never experience anything like it. TV does great by showing it. It's not. Words really cannot define what that feels like, seeing the flyover during the national anthem. It was absolutely amazing. Ray, your brother, kind of leaned over. He says, "I bet you we're all going to cry." And I was like, "Dude, I'll be honest with you, I was bawling during the national anthem." I mean, that's just how much. That's just how emotional it was to not only be at the racetrack, but also to hear the national anthem like that and to see that flyover in person. It was amazing.
Well, I'm definitely glad you finally got to experience your first race live in person. Shouldn't be your last either. Should definitely have multiple more coming soon. Not this season. I don't think that's possible, but definitely starting next season. Start adding a race or two at least as we go. But yeah, glad you had fun at the track. Glad the whole family had fun. I know it's more of kind of like a big birthday gift for you. Your birthday being the weekend before. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed your birthday gift, which obviously you did from how much you're talking about it. But yeah. So it goes to show you the experience on track compared to watching on, the couch on TV. It's totally different. And I just know that just from going to the Snowball Derby. I went to the Snowball Derby twice, and it was totally different than watching anything racing related on TV. And both times were different because I was in different spots and with different people both years. So definitely an experience I recommend doing. Going to the racetrack, seeing a race, you can do the full experience, get the VIP passes, go in the garage. I definitely recommend that for certain races. Maybe not every race, unless you're just rich like that. But definitely go experience it. It's a lot of fun. It's very heartwarming, especially. And then it's polite. You don't have to worry about some basketball fans rioting in the streets right afterwards because their team lost the finals or won the final. So I know that. Thanks, New York. Anyways, but yeah. So that's it for race coverage. And of course, we've already covered news. I don't think there's anything else. Really.
Well, I know you don't want to talk about fantasy.
Yeah, that's right. We do got to talk about that.
Because you give me a 1-race lead because I forget to set my lineup for Daytona. I do set my lineup for Chicago. Unfortunately, I can't change it. But I did have Chase Briscoe, William Byron, Chris Buescher, Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott was my garage driver, which I would have obviously moved him out. Had Kyle Larson, or had I been able to have service in place of Kyle Larson, and then I had Denny Hamlin as well. Which, good news for you, that was my last use of Denny Hamlin.
Hey, it doesn't matter. I don't have that many left on them anyway. I think I have 4 left. Oh no, I have 5 left. Okay, I might be able to gain some ground. I had Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, Denny Hamlin, and then AJ Allmendinger. Corey Heim was my garage pick. I should have I kind of wasn't paying attention when I should have been, and I should have switched Corey out for AJ. But part of the experience. So Chicagoland wise, you whooped me anyway, 233 to 166 points. So overall, you're whipping me anyways. 3,884. You on top, and me trailing far behind with 3,591. So almost a 300 point gap.
Yep.
Even
And I gained in worldwide standings. I gained 6,000 positions, and I'm at 23,970 now.
I don't even think I'm even close. Let me look.
So, and I spotted everybody a race.
Mhm.
So just imagine if I had Daytona back.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I am 62,732. So I'm way back there. But yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna win a fantasy league year unless you just forget 90% of the races somehow. I don't know. Oh. Anywho, you got anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. 7 more races in the Cup Series to the Chase. I tell you, I will say this though. You mentioned earlier we have a championship battle going on between Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick, and it really, really looked like Tyler Reddick was just going to run away with this regular season championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was, you know, but it's really good to see, a battle like this. And to be honest with you, even though it's Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin, not big fans of them, I would still like to see how this played out through the rest of the year without having to deal with the chase. Because everything gets reset with the chase, and whoever's leading, if Denny Hamlin ends up with a 100-point lead going into the chase, he's going to have a 25-point lead, right? So, it's basically going to wipe away 75 points in that circumstance. And I don't know. I really think that if a driver has an opportunity, Tyler Reddick was 150 points up at one point in time, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he could have carried that all year long and would have won the championship by 300 points, I've got no problem with that. But if he had a 200-point lead going into the chase and it got cut down to a 25-point lead, I've got a problem with that. That's just not fair to whoever has that lead and their team to just say, well, you worked hard to get this, and now we're just going to take it away from you.
Yeah.
No other form of motorsports does this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad to see that we actually have a battle up front, because I'll be honest with you, it was getting a little boring there with Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, I will.
For a
That's
while.
true.
But but I will tell you, from sixth and seventh through like 13th and 14th, 15th, and even back to like 18th. So from like 7th to 18th, man, there's just a battle going on there.
Yep.
Now maybe 7, 8, 9, and 10 battling, 11, 12, and 13 battling, and then 14 to 18 battling. But there's tight points battles in that whole area there. So, and the chase, the final few spots in the chase they're really tight, and I'm enjoying watching it.
Yep. Absolutely. It's great to see, for sure. Much better than the old winning you're in playoffs. So yeah. So nothing else. We'll do our usual shout outs and wrap her up.
Yep. Um, so just real quick, be looking for some diecast reviews. SterlingRider has them. He's received them. He's going to get them posted up this weekend.
I will
I know
say,
you've got some racing going on.
yeah, I will say a couple got uploaded today, earlier today. Today is
Oh,
the
cool.
9th when we're recording. I got 2 of the 3 you have sent me. The third one will be uploaded sometime after the podcast is posted. So, if you're watching
I haven't been on.
at this point now, the diecast review is probably uploaded. To be honest with you,
Cool.
but yes, 2 of the 3 you have sent me
I
are
haven't been on.
uploaded. So,
I
uploaded.
see that. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Because this is the first time I've been on YouTube all day. Well, since probably 10:30 this morning. So cool.
Understandable.
Good to see those up there. Y'all check them out.
Yeah, one of them's cool. One of them was a surprise to me when I opened the video. I thought it was cool. So definitely go check them out.
Yeah. I'll just give you a little hint. They're not NASCAR diecasts. One of them is that he posted today. One of them is not, and the one that he will post up after this will not be a NASCAR diecast, but it is a racing diecast, and it is really cool. I hope to add more to my collection as we go. So for our shout outs, you got the Scene Vault podcast. Check that out. Do want to mention that we did over these past several weeks ago, we did lose Steve Wade, who was an integral part of the scene, the NASCAR Winston Cup scene magazine with Rick Houston. He was the editor for many years. It is unfortunate that we lost Steve after a lengthy health battle. Prayers for his family continued, and Rick as well, because they were very close. And Rick Houston has done a wonderful job. He has digitized the entire run of the NASCAR Winston Cup scene magazine, and hopefully one of these days the people that actually own the rights to publicize those will either publicize them, use Rick's work, give him credit for the work, pay him for the work, so that the fans can enjoy. I have several print copies myself, but when you talk about the history of the sport, Rick has done an excellent job trying to preserve a lot of that. So, there is a campaign trying to get Dale Jr. to help Rick get the ownership of this. Just want to throw that out there. Also, Door Bumper Clear has been excellent the past few weeks, so check them out. Dale Jr. Download, Actions Detrimental with Denny Hamlin. I'm glad he hasn't won for a couple weeks, because I haven't had to listen to him talk about winning for a couple weeks. But I'm sure, that's probably going to change here in the next few weeks as well. Anyway, the Teardown with Gluck and Bianchi, Happy Hour with Kevin Harvick, also Speed with Kevin Harvick and Will Buxton, and then of course follow all those guys along with Bob Pockrass, Matt Weaver, Jayski, Couch Racer, Brock Beard, our personal favorite, CircleBDiecast.com for all of your diecast needs. Those are all of our non-sponsors. Obviously, we want to work with Circle B Diecast, hopefully in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know anybody that works there, or if you work there and you watch our diecast reviews, I know that they've watched a couple of our diecast reviews. So if you watch our diecast reviews or watch our podcast, get in touch with us. We'd be happy to work out a deal.
Absolutely. Also, check out their Whatnot page, Motorsports Auctions, as well, if you like Whatnot and auction stuff. They normally have some old school NASCAR diecast that you don't see very often anymore. Maybe 1 or 2 times every other year on eBay for bazillion dollars. So if you're looking for something specific, they might just have it. So make sure to check them out. All 3 of them are really nice hosts. So they they know the podcast exists as well. So check them out. So, yeah. Also, of course, check out all of the channel sponsors and partnerships. You got Poggers, energy, sleep, and hydration mixes. You got Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. I don't know why I keep saying you have Blacklyte for your desk and gaming chair needs. And the chairs aren't just for gaming. They're for all sorts of office work, gaming or office work. Some of the most comfortable chairs out there. Highly recommend. I'll be getting mine here soon. Also, make sure to check out Rankest Rope Ranchwear, Undrdog Athletix, and follow Him Apparel, of course. All the links are down in the description down below, along with what code to use at checkout. So check them all out. Thank you to all those guys. Thank you to all the podcast and Twitter personnel that help us get our information for our own fan podcast, and of course Circle B Diecast for 90% of our diecast collection, of course. So yeah, still a good amount of content coming soon. A lot of you probably have been seeing I've been live at least once every week in the past few weeks with the United States Online Racing Association. We just had our one and only road course of the season at Watkins Glen. I did decent. Finished 6th there, so really good for trying to pick up some points after missing the first 2 races. Yeah. Going to be a lot coming soon with USORA. They've got a lot of announcements coming soon. They're starting to expand even more. So a lot of great guys racing over there. So if you're looking for an iRacing league, a lot of guys over there race clean, respectfully, and would love to add you to the grid, of course. So yeah. But other than that, that's all we got for this episode. So stay tuned for the next few weeks, of course, as we don't quite know our schedules due to the summer. But the next 3 races, Echo Park Speedway, Atlanta, North Wilkesboro, that's going to be a fun one. And, of course, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we got some good racing coming up, and we'll be here in a few weeks to cover those races and any more news as well. So any final words?
No, not really. I will say I look for a lot of silly season stuff to start happening, and I'm looking forward to when it starts happening. It's going to happen pretty rapidly. So, but we will do our best to keep it covered. And if this is your source of news, to let you know as quickly as possible.
Absolutely. So, yeah, this is going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'll do our best to answer them. So that's going to be it for this episode. So make sure to check out all the links in the description down below. Join the Discord so you know when whenever the channels go live or when there's new content posted on the channels, such as the diecast reviews or the podcast episode, of course. And yeah, always remember to be bold and share Jesus. Jesus loves you and everyone. And continue to ride on. See you guys later.